Okay, good morning, everybody. Today is the 27th class, I believe. We are learning the third module in which we are learning JavaScript. Yesterday, there was a little problem with the network, so I was not very clear. So, very quickly, I will revise what we have done in yesterday's class. Yesterday, we saw what is a window object. Just like any other built-in object, like the math object, the date object, the array, the string object, we have a window object. Why do we use a window object? Is we use a window object to access elements of the window. What do we mean by the window? We mean by the browser window. Okay, we mean by the window, the actual browser window. And in the browser, what is important, there are so many components in the window of the browser. There is history of the browser, then there is the status bar of the browser. A lot of things are there, and using this window object you can access all those things if you need it for in your application. In fact, the alert method that we are using is also a part of the window object only. Okay, so this is what we have studied. Then comes document object model. Document object model, or DOM, is used for accessing elements of HTML. To understand document object model, first we have to understand the structure of the HTML document. Normally, the HTML document contains the HTML tag, which is a root tag. It contains two children, the head tag and the body tag. Inside the body tag, now depending upon what you are designing, you have H1 tag, P tag, image tag, A tag, div tag. A lot of things will be there now depending upon what type of an application you are writing. Normally, the head section will contain the meta tag, the title tag, and so on. And then the body tag contains, depending upon the design of your page, several different tags here. Okay, these are called as tags, or these are called as elements, or these are called as nodes. Okay, with respect to document object model, remember these are called as nodes. Now, why are we learning DOM, document object model? For example, let us say you want to access this particular element, the P tag. This particular element you want to access. Okay, you want to access this particular element. Okay, and then you want to change the content of this particular tag. You for example, have a look at this. Okay, you have a P tag here, you have a P tag here, and what is there inside that P tag? You're displaying this information: photo of conservatory pond in, there is a link, Central Park. Okay, this is there in the P tag. You want to change the content of this P tag, so you have to access this individually. And there are built-in functions available to change the content of this P tag or the div tag. Okay, you can actually change the content of that div tag and all that. So to access these elements of the HTML document individually and change it in terms of style, in terms of content, you can do it through built-in functions available through the document object model. So document object model is nothing but the programming interface. It's an application programming interface, API, which contains a lot of built-in properties and methods using which you can change the content and style of nodes of HTML. Nodes of HTML means tags of HTML, sections of HTML. Fine then. So after learning that, then we understood what is the meaning of a node. In the document object model, each element within HTML document is called as a node. Each element of HTML is called as a node. For example, H1 is a node, P is a node, image is a node. If it has a div tag, it is a node, title is a node, meta is a node. So every tag that is there in an HTML document is called as a node. Just remember that. All nodes in document object models share a common set of properties and methods. Now, every node has got a common set of properties and methods. You know what is the meaning of a property? I have given you that example. You know what is the meaning of a method? A method is nothing but the function that you invoke using the object. Okay. Now, if P is the element or the node, it may contain many more nodes inside it. So it may contain a tag, a node inside it. Okay, if I have a node like this, P tag, photo of conservatory pound, and then there is an A tag inside it, so this becomes two nodes. So there is a node, and then there is one more node inside this. This node is called as the parent node, and the node which is inside it is called as the child node. It's called as a child node. And if children are there present at the same level, they become siblings. Okay, we can see that example over here on the top. Now this HTML root node contains two children, head and body. They are siblings. All the tags which are present at the same level are called as the siblings. So body is the parent, and these are all the children of the body tag. Okay, H1, P, image, H2. So they are all siblings. Now remember, these are called as siblings. Why are we learning this relationship? Is because The built-in properties and methods are using words like siblings, next sibling, previous sibling, children node, and all that. So that's why we have to understand the relationship between the tags and all that. Now, these are the various attributes which we make use of. These are the various different types of properties which we make of to work with nodes of HTML. First one is attributes. The attributes, if you use the attributes on a particular node, it gives the attributes of that node. What is the meaning of an attribute? You have to understand that first. Now remember, the A tag has got an attribute called as href. There is an A tag. Okay, when we start the A tag, we write A followed by href, and then in href, what do we write is the link to which we have to go to. So if there is any tag, and in the tag before closing, inside the tag, if there is some property and there is some value, some property and some value, remember that entire thing from there to there is called as an attribute. This is the property. Href is property, and http colon www.centralpark.com is called as a value. Okay, this entire thing is called as an attribute. Similarly, the form tag has got two very important attributes: the method attribute and the action attribute. Okay, you can see even here in the image tag, there is src attribute. Src is the source of the image. So like this, remember, the div tag has got an attribute called as id. The A tag has got an attribute called as href, and so on. If you want to access all the attributes of a particular tag, if you want to access all the properties of a particular element, all the properties of a particular node, then we use the attributes property. We use the attributes property. Okay, so we have p dot attributes. It gives me all the attributes of the p tag. Similarly, if you want to access for a particular node, you want to access all the children nodes. For a particular node, you want to access all the children node, then we have something called as the child nodes property. Child nodes property will give you back a list of all the nodes which are present inside a particular node. If I say body tag, if I access body tag, body dot child nodes, if I say, it will give me all the childrens which are there inside the body tag. Okay, and remember, this children list that I will get is a list of nodes. It is not a single node, it is a list of nodes. If you want to access the first child of a particular parent, then you use the first child property. If you want to access the last child of a particular node, you use the last child property. You are currently accessing a particular node and you want its next sibling, then we use the next sibling of that property. Then node name, you have a node and then you want to know what is a node name, then you can use a node name, then node type, node value, parent node, who's the parent of a particular node, previous sibling. So these are the various properties available to work with nodes. Access a particular node, and then once you access a particular node, then you can change the content of that or you can change the appearance of that. Okay, uh, what is a document object? The document object is the root of JavaScript presenting the entire HTML document. It contains some properties and methods that will be used extensively in our development and globally accessed as document. The document object actually is the first class which contains all these various attributes. Okay, and then which are the methods available in document object model? We have create attribute, create element, create text node, get element by id, and get elements by tag name. Now create element, create text node, create attribute are some things which we very rarely use, but get element by id is a very frequently used method of document object model. Get element by id is a very, very useful method available in document object model, DOM. Okay, what do we do is, let us say I want to access a particular node. I have this tree here, I have this complete tree here. I want to access this p tag. Okay, I want to, no, not that p tag, let us say I want to access this div tag. Okay, this div tag I want to access, and in the document here the div tag is written like this. I have a div tag and then it has got an id. It has got an id called as latest comment. Now what I can do is I can say I want to access that in JavaScript. I want to access that div tag, that particular div tag I want to access in my JavaScript. So I write var followed by some object name obj is equals to document dot, I told you it always starts with the document. This is the root node. Document dot here it is, sorry. So I have var object is equals to document dot get element by id, and then in brackets you have to write down the id of that div tag which you want to access. So I have a div tag here whose ID is latest comment, and if I say document.get element by ID, now what is ABC? ABC becomes an object which is pointing to this div tag because its ID is latest comment. Now if I say ABC dot text content, yesterday we saw that abc.text content, if I say, then what will happen is you can change the content of this. Right now, what is present in this div tag? There is a paragraph, there is another paragraph, and then this is the end of the div tag. So from here to here is the div tag. Currently, what is this div tag displaying? It is displaying my recorder on there is some time. Okay, and then easy on the HDR buddy. Okay, something is being displayed in this div tag. I want to change that. If you want to change that, you first access that div tag in your JavaScript like this. VAR, give some name to it, is equals to document.get element by ID latest comment, which is over here. So now you are pointing to this div tag through this object ABC. So if I say ABC dot text content is equals to hello world, if I write, all this will get deleted, and then all this which was there will get deleted, and what will be displayed there? Hello world will be displayed there because you are changing it through JavaScript. Finally, remember one thing: document object model helps you to access individual elements of HTML and change its style and content. Okay, so get element by ID, you can directly get a particular node into an object and you can change the content and its style. Similarly, you have something called as get elements by name. Now this get elements by name will give you back a list of nodes, okay, list of all the nodes whose name is div. So if in your HTML document you have multiple div tags and you want to access all of them in a form of a list, then you can use get elements by tag name, get element by tag name, and then all the elements of that will come into list, and then you have to parse through all of this. Now list is not a single node. In the HTML document there may be a lot of div tags. All those div tags will come in the form of a list into this list, and then you have to parse through this. You have to use a for loop or a while loop to parse through all the single nodes, single div nodes of the HTML document. Okay, so we will come to that. We will see an example on that. Now uh, once you have access to the element node, then you can use the built-in methods and properties to change the content of that and the style of that. Now, how do we, is it possible to modify a DOM element? It is possible to modify a DOM element. Okay, it is possible to modify a DOM element. How to then, which are the different methods which we should use or properties which we should use to change the content of a node? Okay, how do we modify a DOM element? Let us say we access a p tag or a div tag. I want to change the content of that. Then there are some built-in functions available, built-in properties available using which I can change that. The first is inner HTML. Inner HTML is a property using which you can change the HTML of a particular div tag. If there is a particular tag, you want to change its inner HTML, you want to change the content of that, you can assign an HTML and then you can change the content and style of a particular element. Okay, so it is possible to change the content and style of a particular element using inner HTML. Then you can use always the style property is also there, using which you can change the style of a particular node. Yesterday we have seen this example, inner HTML and style, and even text content. I will show you that output again today. Okay, and then these are the two, inner HTML and style, which are used for changing the content of a particular node. Then if you want to know what are the different types of classes available in the tag, then we use the class name property. If you want to know what is the ID of a particular node, we use the ID property. If you want to know what is the tag name of a particular node, you use the tag name property. If you want to know the href, if it is pointing to some URL, then we use the href property. And there are so many here. Okay, so you have to understand, and you have to remember at least some 3 to 4, so that in the examination you can write that. Okay, these are the different types of properties available with nodes, with a particular node. Okay, with a particular node, remember, for a particular element, remember these are the different types of properties which are available. For a particular node, you can know what is its tag name. For a particular node, you can change its style. For a particular node, you can change its inner HTML. For a particular node, you can find what is its ID, href, name, src, and value. Okay. Now, this is an example of inner HTML. This is how we change the content. In the examination, they will ask you a question like this. They will ask you, which are the properties used for changing the content of an HTML node or an HTML element? Inner HTML is one of them. Inner HTML is one of them. What I'm trying to say is, Let us say I take this example. Okay, I go to web, and then there I think this is the one. I open this with Sublime. Okay, what we have done here is simple. I have a script from here to here. In the script, I've written a function called as my function in JavaScript. How to write functions in JavaScript? First, we write the keyword function followed by the name of the function. Parameters, if there are any, then the flower brackets open and close, and inside that we write the body of the function. Now this function has to be called on a particular event. When I'm calling this function my function, I'm calling this function my function when this button on which we have displayed click me, when this button click me is clicked on click, what I've done, input type is equals to button, so this will place input type is equals to button, will place a button on the HTML page, and when you click on that button on click, I've written call the function my function. On click, there is a on click attribute. Input type is equals to button, there is an on click attribute to which you assign a value, and that value is nothing but the name of the function that should get executed when the button is clicked. So when the button is clicked, automatically whatever is there in my function, the body of JavaScript will get executed. And what we are doing here is we are accessing in my HTML page, there is a node, there is an element called as div. This div tag's ID is my div. I want to access this div tag into JavaScript. So what I do is I declare a variable VARD. I want this object D to point to this div tag. So VARD is equals to document dot get element by ID. I use get element by ID, and then I write the ID of the div tag which I want to access in JavaScript. Now D is pointing to this div tag. D is a reference to this div tag. You can understand it like that. Now using this D, I can change the content of this div tag, or I can change the style of this div tag. Okay, so let us do that. Once I have accessed the D, I say D dot inner HTML, and then I want to change the content. This is changed content. This is changed content. Okay, what is that div tag displaying? Before the div tag is displaying to you, this is the div tag. Initially when you load the page, this is what will get displayed to you. This is the div tag. But when you click on the button, it will call the function my function, and in my function of JavaScript, what we are doing is we are accessing this div tag and we are changing the content of that div tag. Initially it was this is the div tag, it will get changed to this is changed content. This is changed content. So whatever you have displayed here will, sorry, this is not a property, it's not a method, it's a property. This is how you have to write it. D.inner HTML is equals to this is changed content, and then I put some dot 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 dot. Okay, now let us see what happens. So file, save, I double click on that. So so this welcome to JavaScript comes, where is it coming from? It is coming from here. Okay, you can see here, it is displaying this h1 tag. Okay, on the top, that's why you're able to see this welcome to JS. Then after that, there is a script tag, no problem. It will have some JavaScript. Then it has a form tag in which there is a button. So it displays click me, on click, it calls that function. So this is that button. And below that, there is this div tag, okay, which is displaying, this is the div tag. So you can see this is the div tag, which is displaying, this is the div tag. Now, when I click on this button, the content of this should change. So you can see when I click on that, you can see that this is changed content. The content changed. The content changed. You saw that. Okay, I will refresh this again. So this is the div tag. Only originally this is what will get displayed because this is what I've written here. But when I click on this button here, you can see that the content is being changed because in JavaScript I'm making that change. So the inner HTML property is used for changing the content. Yesterday we had seen one more text content, I think. Text content. Yeah, text content is also used for changing the content of the HTML node. If you want to change the content of HTML node, we use inner HTML and text content properties. These are two. In the textbook here, they have given only one, inner HTML, but we can use inner HTML or text content. These are the two properties which we use for changing the content of an HTML node, HTML element. Okay. Similarly, how we can change the content of Content means what is being displayed. What is being displayed right now? This is being displayed. I click it, changed. I can change the content, and similarly I can also change. I want to comment this, so I put two slashes. Okay, so in JavaScript, if you want to comment a line, you put two slashes before it. If you want to change the style, we use the style property. So we do d dot style dot background is equals to, I don't know if this is, background is equals to red. So yeah, you can see that the background color is becoming red. Why? Because we are calling the function my function, and the button is clicked, and what is happening in my function? We are accessing the div tag, and we are saying d, which is the div tag, dot style dot background is equals to red. We are saying please change the background of that div tag to red. We are saying that. If I say is equals to orange, orange, then you can see I refresh this. I will put. You can see that it has changed to orange now. So you can basically use the style property to give different styles to the div tag or any node of HTML. So these are the two things: text content, inner HTML, and style. Style doesn't contain only background color. If you want to change something else also, Control C, Control V, border width is equals to, I don't know whether this is possible. I'll just go there. No, I don't think so. There is something called as border width. It is given here. We have to just see. We have to just see changing an element style. How to change the element style? We take that element. Okay, document.get element by ID, specific tag, some tag we take. And in our case, the name of that object was D, but here the name, the object he has given, the author, is comment tag dot style dot background color, and border width. Yeah, border width is also there. So I'll just copy that. So instead of the comment, I have D. So I have D dot style dot border width is equals to 3 pixels. So I save that, click, and then, yeah, I think there is a border there, but we are not able to see it because I think it is in blue color. There may be one more. There may be one more property: D dot style dot border color. Color is equals to, I will write black. Let us see if it is possible to do that. No, border color is not there. So you can see that background color I can change using style.background color. I can change the border width by using style.border width. Like that, I have all different types of properties using which I can change the style of a particular node of HTML. How to change the text, how to change the content by using two properties: text content and inner HTML. How to change the style? We can use the style property. Tag name dot style dot background color. Tag name dot style dot border width. You can change the style of the node like that. Okay. So I can assign a particular class also to, let us say I have defined a style CSS. I've defined a style CSS, and I have given it some name. So I can change dynamically in JavaScript. I can change the style of a particular element by using the class name property. So some tag dot class name is goes. So when I assign this class name, automatically the style that is defined in that class name will be applied to that tag. So it is possible to apply some different style which is defined in a class dynamically using the class name property. To a particular tag, I can assign the style which is defined in a class by using the class name property. Okay, that is all there. Then there are some additional properties which are there in tags. Get element by ID. Then there is something called as pass dot value will give me the value of that. Okay, and so that's about it. This is important to understand what is a document object model. The document object is used for accessing elements individually. And why do we have to use access them individually in JavaScript? Because dynamically we should be able to change the content and style of that tag. There are various properties and methods available to do that, and we have discussed already that. So please go through that and try to remember at least 5, because in the examination they will ask you that. Okay. Next comes JavaScript events. Next comes JavaScript events. Why do we use these events? We have already used one event, the on-click event we have already used in our program here. You have already got introduced to it. You can see that there is a button tag, input type is equals to button tag is there. And then there is one event here called as on-click, which means that when the button is clicked, it calls this function, and this function is written in JavaScript. So whatever code you have written in this JavaScript in this function will get executed when the button is clicked. Like this, there are different types of events available. If you want some JavaScript function to execute when not only the button is clicked, but you want to execute some JavaScript when the mouse pointer is taken on top of a button, or when the mouse pointer is taken away from the button. If you want to execute some sort of JavaScript, you can even do that. So there are different types of events: on mouse over, on mouse out, on click, on page load. So there are different types of events, and all that we are going to study under JavaScript events. What is an event? An event is something which triggers depending upon a user action. The user performs some action and some event is triggered. So that action that is triggered is called as an event, and events occur only because of user action. Remember that. And then every event when it occurs executes. If you want to execute some JavaScript code or some function, that function is called as a handler function. That function is called as a handler function. Okay. The moment some action, some event occurs, it executes a JavaScript, and that JavaScript function that you execute is called as the handler function. So please remember that word. It's called as a handler function. Okay. Some handler code to execute when a particular event occurs. Okay. And that code is to be written by the developer, of course. Okay. So let us understand all the events and how to write the handler code for that. Now you can see that I have a div tag here. Okay. It's not necessary that only the buttons can be clicked. I have a div tag here. You can see what is the ID of the div tag. ID is example1. The ID that I give to that div tag is example1. And then on click, you can see on click, there is a little bit of JavaScript written here. What is alert? Alert hello means it will display you hello in the alert box. So the div tag, when it is clicked, it executes a JavaScript. And where are you writing the JavaScript? You are writing it inside the tag only. Have you written any function and are you calling that function? No, we are not doing that. You are writing the JavaScript in the tag itself. So this is called as inline event handler approach. This is called as inline event handler approach. When you write the JavaScript code inside the tag itself, it is called as inline event handler approach. Div tag is there. When it is clicked, it executes this JavaScript. Now let us copy this code, Control C, and I will file, new file, and then I will quickly write some HTML. I have the body tag, and then I pasted that there, and I have, okay, so first let me have some h1 tag, events, inline events, inline events. I will save this file here. I will call this as inline js.html, inline.js.html. And when I go to web, where is that inline.js? Yeah, there it is. So if I double click on that, you can see that I have inline events displayed because it is the h1 tag. Because of this h1 tag, you are able to see that. And there is a div tag which displays click for pop-up, click for pop-up. And when this div tag is clicked, on click of this div tag, it executes this JavaScript. Okay, it executes that JavaScript. Now let us see that. So I refresh. If I come here and click on that, I clicked on that, and you can see that it displayed me hello here. I go again there, I click on that, you can see it displays me hello there. I go there again, I click on that, it displays me hello. So every time I'm clicking on that div tag, it is executing that JavaScript, and I've written that JavaScript where? In the tag itself. So this is called as inline event handler. It is called as inline event handler, okay? Then you can execute, then you have on submit event, which this is inline. Why this is called as inline? Because the code is written inside the tag itself. Then you can also do this. You can execute JavaScript depend in a function, and you can do it like this: form tag, on submit. Form tag has got an event called as on submit. When the form is submitted, it can call a JavaScript function. And then you can write that JavaScript function inside the script tag, like how we had written it for this. You can see here we had written a function here called as my function, and on click, similarly we have to write it on submit in the form tag. Then this function will be called when the form is submitted. Okay, so there are different ways of calling JavaScript when a particular event occurs. One is inline, other one is writing it in a function and then calling it. Okay, and you can also write your JavaScript in separate files. It is possible to write JavaScript in separate files, and you can include that by using the script tag. Type is equals to text/JavaScript. Source is equals to inline.js. Okay, you can also include JavaScript in your HTML pages, and then in this external JavaScript files, you can write your functions which you can invoke when a particular event occurs. Okay, all that is there. We will take examples of all that step by step. First, let us understand which are the different types of this available. Okay, events available, and once we understand the events, then we will understand how to write the listener. Listener approach is, what you do is you first access a particular element and then you register a listener to it. What is the meaning of document.getElementId example? Now this is a div tag, and its reference is put into a greeting box. Greeting box dot on click, this is the listener. On click, when this greeting box is clicked, then do this. So you can write some JavaScript over there. When the greeting box div tag is clicked, it should execute this JavaScript. This is called as registering a listener. For a particular event, if you want to register a listener, this is what you do. Okay, we will take an example and try to understand that. This is another way of doing it. This is the DOM2 method of doing it. You first access the reference of a particular div tag. You do document.getElementById. This is a div tag. Example one is a div tag, and its reference, its object, you take into greeting box. Now this greeting box, I can use it to change the content, I can change its style, all that. But what I am doing now is I'm adding a listener. When this div tag is clicked, do this. So when I use the method add event listener, okay, a particular node dot add event listener, when I do, I'm trying to register a listener to that particular element. What does it mean by greeting box dot add event listener is, when this greeting box is clicked, execute this JavaScript is what I'm trying to say through this method add event listener. The add event listener takes two parameters. First is the event, and second is the JavaScript code that should get executed. So when the greeting box div tag is clicked, please execute this JavaScript is what I'm trying to say through add event listener method. Okay. Similarly, click is one event. Another event is mouse out. Mouse out is another event which will execute this JavaScript when the mouse is out of the div tag. Okay, when the mouse is out of the div tag. This is how we add listeners to events in JavaScript. Let us take this example. So here what we have is a div tag, and the name of the div tag is that. So I will do one thing. I have a function here, and above the function I write down this. I don't call this greeting box, I call this as D. I don't want it to be so big, so I call this also as D. So D. Okay. And what is the name of my div tag? It is my div. So this should be my div. So when it is clicked, it should say good morning. When I move the mouse out of it, it should say goodbye. And there is a function there. Button I don't need right now. And this is, I think this should work. Okay, now just have a look at this. I refresh this. So I have this. So the moment, no, which is this? Oh my God, I have written it here. Is it JS4? So you can see I have a div tag. When I go and click on that, there seems to be some problem here. What should actually happen is when I take the mouse, I click on that. When I click on that, so you can see when I click on that, it should display me good morning. And when the mouse comes out of the div tag, then it should display me goodbye. It should display me. This is what is supposed to happen. We will continue this in the next class, less than a minute left. We will stop here today, and I will continue from the same example yesterday, tomorrow. What I will do is I will try to do that. When I take my mouse over it and click it, it should display some message. When I bring the mouse out of the div tag, it should display me some other message. So that is what we will attempt to do tomorrow. And I hope today's class is clear. If you have any doubts, please note them down and let me know. Okay, so have a nice day, all of you. Bye bye.